Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, Pakistan's tour to Ireland, of course, will be on the cards. We'll talk about all the preparations, all the probables, the combinations, what best can we pick from this squad, and also some things about the team in detail as well. I think at this moment in time, all of us should be on one page and the message needs to go across that whatever squad will be selected for the World Cup is going to represent Pakistan. It won't represent me, it won't represent you alone, it would represent the entire nation. So whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, whether one of my favorite players is in the squad or not, whether it's the case with you, at the end of the day we have to worry about Pakistan, because all of the players playing under Babar Azam as the captain, including the skipper, would be representing Pakistan. They won't be playing individually. So I think that is something that we need to really understand as mature young people and as a nation as well. I mean, I think it won't be restricted only to the younger lot. There are a lot of things, absurd things being said by some very senior people, but I think that, I hope that sanity prevails as well. At the end of the day, Pakistan should always come first. So we'll talk about that, and like I said, that we've got all the team news, the details as well. The first T20 international is going to be one that is particular focus. Ireland, on the other hand, have announced their squads for the Pakistan series, the T20 World Cup as well. The first training session will be held in Dublin on the 9th. So we'll talk about that in detail. Then we move on to hockey, where the Aslan Shah hockey tournament continues. Pakistan in their final group game have beaten Canada by 5-4. They're leading the points table with points. They're going to be facing New Zealand now on the 10th of May. It's been a superb performance. They won the first two games, then they drew 1-1 against Japan after they got the last goal. I think that was terrific. And even today they were absolutely superb. Although I think I need to give a lot of credit to Canada. I think it was a very competitive game, but thankfully Pakistan has come out on top. So congratulations to the boys who are representing Pakistan at the Aslan Shah hockey tournament. Then we move on to the Chief of Naval Staff International Squash Championship, which is underway. 23 matches are being played in the mega event. 19 international and 5 Pakistani players with international rankings are participating. The championship will continue till the 12th of this month. So we'll talk about that in detail as well. Of course, squash already has, I think, a great platform in Pakistan now. We're seeing back-to-back international tournaments. And once again, when you talk about the Chief of Naval Staff International Squash Championship, it is a very prestigious tournament. So a lot of international focus is there as well. So we'll talk about this in detail. Time now to introduce our guest for our first segment, which is, of course, cricket. Joining us in studios, first of all, is cricket commentator, international broadcaster, presenter, and our sports expert, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We've also been joined by sports expert, Mr. Malik Usman. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, I'm doing well.
Thank you for joining us. And we've also been joined by cricket expert and analyst Taha Mohyuddin Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Taha. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, very well,
thank you for joining us as well. Now, Asif, I think this tour to Ireland is of particular focus now. Like I said, that these two tours are left and they are in the run-up to the T20 World Cup, which starts next month. So very less time for preparations. But I think if you look at the team, you look at the skipper, the way he had a pre-departure press conference, looks like a lot of thick skin has been developed. So they're ignoring things that are being said all across, and they're focusing on their goal, which is the World Cup eventually.
Well, I think that it's a very important and crucial series for Pakistan right before the World Cup. Do remember that Pakistan would have to face Ireland in the World Cup as well. First thing. Second thing, you said that the Babar Azam's press conference, to be honest, that the way he was responding, confidence was there. And the good thing is that now I don't follow the criticism of the social media, because, you know, some of the quacks, some of the, sorry to say, the analysts, even the former test cricketers, now they're making fun. And to be honest, this is the time to support your team. Yes, the fake criticism is really important, but criticism for the sake of criticism, just you have played the test cricket, whatever in your mind you would say, I think this is not fair. This is not fair with the Pakistan cricket. And we have never seen these kind of statements which are coming from the former test cricketer of Pakistan. Talk about India, people are talking about the winning combinations, talk about Australia, how the former cricketers are behaving. So I think that, as you said, that being nation, we should behave like a mature and well-developed nation. But of course that things will take time. I think the way Pakistan cricket team has traveled to Ireland, one thing is pretty much important, that why Wahab Riaz is traveling with the Pakistan cricket team as senior manager or chief selector or what? If as senior manager, so I think that this is not fair, because rest of the selection committee is here, and only Wahab Riaz is traveling with the Pakistan team. So I think it's one thing is in my mind that when you are with the team and you have rest of the staff, coaches, then there is no need to travel with your team. Now talk about Babar Azam's personality. I think let him play as an opener because he's been performing so well with the bat. We have given chances to Saim Ayub, Fakhar Zaman, some other players. I don't know why people aren't taking or aren't raising the question of Azam Khan's selection. What was the criteria? I think that the former Test cricketers, they're not speaking about Azam Khan because their former colleague and their and their friend Moin Khan is the father of Azam Khan. That's why. Give me one good reason that why Azam Khan is in the team and why Hasibullah and Haris they are not. So I think you will find only one thing: the lobbying and the favoritism, and one important thing that your franchise is supporting you. That is the only criteria.
Certainly, Asif, I think you need to enhance your terminology from quacks to senior quacks now. I think we've actually moved on a step from there onwards. All kinds of things.
Well, I think the quacks are quacks. Either they're senior or they're juniors. Yeah.
That's very true. I think that's very. Truly put by K. Asif, that senior or junior, quack is a quack.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very honest opinion. Usman, like Asif mentioned, that this is a series of particular importance. Some of the selections now need to be justified. Whether the captain was taking those decisions, whether he was happy with those choices or not, I think these two series would probably define that in front of us.
See, first and foremost, I think it is going towards the point of frustration, that the type of criticism and the frequency of criticism that is coming in. See what has happened. A series hasn't yet started, and there is so much criticism about the captain, about the selection, about the strategy. A strategy which has not been presented yet, but still there is lot many questions. Talking about Babar Azam and his confidence, he has to be very confident. He has to be thick-skinned, and more importantly, he has to be very confident, not just being thick-skinned, because the type of backing he has got. Just a couple of months back, he was heavily criticized for the World Cup in India, and he was removed as captain, and suddenly you are rejuvenated and you're back as captain of the Pakistan team, almost in the same capacity. I mean, the white ball cricket, the red ball cricket is not due in the next couple of months' time. So he's much more powerful, and now he will have things his way if it wasn't before. So this is what he is going to do as a captain, what he has been doing previously. And talking about the criticism that is coming forward, like for example, one of our former cricketers said that if he hits 3 straight sixes, I will shut down my YouTube channel. So who is so much interested in your YouTube channel? And what is it has to do with his 3 straight sixes? He is one of the most technically correct batsmen in the world of cricket today, if not the most correct batsman. Everybody fantasizes his batting technique. Everybody is so proud of him. Look at what the other senior cricketers from around the world talk about him. Babar Azam is the biggest brand of Pakistan cricket right now, and he is the top ranked batsman for the past couple of years in all 3 formats together. They talk about Fab 4, but they never talk about Babar Azam. I think he's certainly among those 4-5 players. He's probably second only to Virat Kohli if you talk about the all 3 formats. And here we have a senior player who talks about his 3 straight sixes to shut down his YouTube. If he can shut it down, let it be. And now talking about the Pakistan cricket team, see, this is what you are going to get for the World Cup now. The players who have been selected for Ireland and England are going to feature in the World Cup as well. Now there is not going to be anything out of the box now. So these are the best players in the country, and I think only 2-3 players are going to come back. Out of this 18, 15 are going to go through. These are probably the best players in the country, and we have to back them to the end. It's not now about that who should open, who should be one down. We have lot many minds and lot many opinions, and not all opinions can be correct, nor all can be wrong. So we have to trust our management, we have to trust our captain, and we have to back this team by hook or by crook. This team has been performing well in the previous 2 T20 World Cup, 1 semi-final, 1 final. They had their share of bad luck as well. They could have won the semi-final, they could have won the final previously. So we have a good team, we have probably the best bowling lineup in the world, and we have our own way of playing cricket. We cannot follow India, Australia or England for that matter and just go helter and skelter. What is our strength might be their weakness, what is their strength might be our weakness.
Absolutely. I think what on earth would those 114,000 viewers on YouTube do if that page shuts down? And then on the other end, what would the 5 million followers of Babar Azam do? You know, it's certainly absurd. Like both of my guests said that, you know, it leaves a bad taste as a nation. I mean, what are we going through? This is the point where you need to back your team, let alone your skipper, who is probably one of the best players right now, not just in Pakistan,
No, I
but in the
think this
entire
is
world.
this is just venom. See, what kind of analysis is this? That if you hit three straight sixes, I will shut down my YouTube channel. What does that 3 straight sixes has to do? If you would have said that, I don't believe he's going to hit 3 sixes in any innings.
I think because he had hit 3 sixes against Ian Bishop, if I'm not wrong, in ODI.
So he
I
wants
think-
that record
Yes,
to be
that's
equal.
that's it. That's
Cool.
it. I think.
Cool.
That should have been vice versa as well. Then. Take Babar's record. But I agree. I think, but one thing is for sure, I think the skippers really develops thick skin amongst all of this. And I think if you look at the pre-departure press conference, a lot is being said. Taha, the overall team combinations become very, very important. Some of the selections, like I said, need to be justified. These are the 2 series where that's going to happen. Like Usman also mentioned that you're going to narrow down your selection to those 15 players who would be representing Pakistan in the World Cup.
Well, Ahmed, I take a lot of positivity in the recent press conference of Babar Azam. He looked a different skipper in this press conference. He was very much confident, very much up for the job, looked like a captain who is very sure about his combinations, because one of the reporters asked him that just as if you applied a rotation strategy in the New Zealand series, will you be continuing with that in the Ireland and England series? But he said he was very much confident that the World Cup is at the doorstep now. We have already finalized our combinations. A lot of questions have been raised, and they were also asked in the press conference regarding the inclusion of Hassan Ali and injured Azam Khan and Haris Rauf. But let's not forget that the selection committee, the coaches and the skipper are watching them more closely in the camps, in the practice sessions. They are assessing their fitness in a better way as compared to the outside, the media and the viewers and all the critics. Yes, Babar Azam, at this point, I agree with him that he has decided to ignore the outside noise to such an extent where he and his team can focus more on the preparations for the series and the World Cup. So I back my skipper for the strategy that he has employed for this series and the World Cup, because this time around a lot of things and the preparations are in place. There's a new selection committee and the model is different to what has been practiced before. Previously the selection committee chairman used to sit with the skipper and decide the team. Now there's a panel whose majority counts for the selection of any player. So I really like that idea as well, and all the selectors were there to defend their selection as well. So if any of these players who are assumed to be injured and they do not perform and they do not appear to be match fit in the series and the World Cup, then we'll be here to criticize this selection committee. But for now, we should back the team, as you said. And talking about the outside noise and the irrelevant criticism being done at a skipper of such high caliber, a player who the former cricketers might envy the kind of stardom and the skill set
Very
that
true.
he has got. So I really back my skipper at this point of time, and it's about time that we should support the Pakistani team going to the World Cup.
Certainly. I think Asif, Taha mentions a very, very important point, and that's an unfortunate scenario in Pakistan where former legends have probably, not been too happy about the respect and, the following that Babar Azam has enjoyed around the world.
Well, I think that when we talk about what happened right before the ODI World Cup, the criticism was on the Babar Azam. And right before the T20 World Cup, same thing is happening. Yes, he hasn't performed well as a skipper. We could raise several questions about his captaincy, his decisions, and fair enough. But when we talk about his batting skills, that around the globe, people are following him, youngsters are following him. In Kabul, I have asked this question to the youngsters. They said, Babar Azam is our favorite batter. Go to the India, go to Kashmir, go to anywhere. You will find many people who would like to follow Babar Azam. I think that's why that some of the senior or the former test cricketers, now they're raising their voices. But now I think as our colleagues, everyone is on the same page, that support Pakistan cricket team. That's it. Yes, I have serious questions about Mohammad Amir. I have serious question about Usman Khan, what I had said. But now this is the time to support them, wish them good luck, because they are playing for Pakistan, not for their franchises.
Certainly. Usman, one thing is certainly there, that Babar is a global superstar. There's no doubt about it. And I think if you look at Pakistan's trajectory of producing superstars in cricket, then we remember the time, if you look at year-wise, we had, Wasim Akram was the talk of the entire world. Then it moved on to Shoaib Akhtar because of his excessive pace. Nobody had seen that in the world, but particularly Wasim enjoyed more of that, aura about the swing bowling and whatever was there. Then we move on to an era where, the global superstar-wise, a lot of attention came to Shahid Afridi. But Pakistan hadn't produced a global superstar in many years, and that's what we saw in Babar Azam currently.
That is true, and that is something of an enemy for him on Pakistan media and with the former cricketers as well. I think he's going to be a huge star, and his stardom is going to last much longer than the stars we have just spoke about. Afridi had his time, Shoaib Akhtar had his time, Wasim Akram has won the World Cup for Pakistan. He was the player of the tournament in '92, so that is a very distinguished award that he has achieved. I hope Babar Azam does the same for Pakistan. Who doesn't like it if someone wins us the World Cup? But Babar Azam has peaked too early in his career, and he has a very long time to go. And with the careers we have in Asia, I think he can play up till 40, and now even 42, 43. The likes of Shoaib Malik, they are still moving their wings to enter Pakistani cricket team and win them another World Cup. So being technically so correct, Babar Azam has another advantage, that is he will rarely be out of form. Even if you talk about the Indian World Cup, he was the second highest scorer of Pakistan in that World Cup, mind you, and the criticism was as if he did not do anything in that World Cup. So he's technically so correct. He's always going to be among the runs. He bats in the top order. He has always batted in the top order, even under 19 as well, in the first class in the domestic cricket as well. So we hope that if someone performs for Pakistan, why not he gets all the stardom in the world he deserves. Whether it be Shaheen Shah Afridi, it be Rizwan Iftikhar for that matter, Amer, Imad, anybody. If it's Babar Azam, let it be.
Certainly. I think look at the team as well. They also look up to Babar Azam as that one form of unity in the team. I think that's been across as well.
I would like to add something from inside the Pakistan cricket team. Even when they were in Kakul, I will tell you something about it, that you may differ of his decision making on the field, but off the field he's very close to his cricket team. He always thinks about those players, what they are doing, where they are. Even when they were climbing these mountains and they were tracking, he was very particular about all the players, that where they are right at the moment, have everybody reached, so I can accompany them. So he was behaving as a captain, and that is the report that we have received from Kakul Academy as well. So being a captain on the field is slightly different, but dealing with the players and having this tight-knit unit of Pakistan cricket team, it's not just now, even in his previous tenure as captain, he had this, if he had one positive point, that was that he keeps the team united.
Yes, Asif, you want to add to that? Because that is certainly something that would put off a lot of people out there who tend to believe in criticism. But I think that we have observed ever since his time as skipper. And I think even before that, once Sarfaraz came in as captain, we saw the environment of the Pakistan team changing, and Babar did pretty well to keep that intact.
Well, let's take an example of Sourav Ganguly, that why he was so powerful captain, and after his tenure, when we talk about the Mahendra Singh Dhoni, how he has grown under the captaincy of Sourav Ganguly. I think that's the only thing, that the positivity. And I've heard from the other cricketers like Mohammad Kaif, like Harbhajan Singh, Yuvraj Singh, that the skipper Ganguly, he used to go to each player and ask the questions that, are you okay? Are you feeling good? Why you're not performing? Instead of asking the question in front of the entire team, he just used to go to their personal rooms, and then they, a small chat about their character. You have this role, you have this role. So I think when the skipper used to do these things, as Usman Bhai was giving an insight, I think it's a very good news if team is united, and if they're united under Babar Azam captaincy, and we're hopeful that we'll get some good news.
Certainly, I do think so as well. And like I said, that everybody wants Pakistan to do well. I mean, how can you be two-faced at this moment where you want Pakistan to win the World Cup, but you don't want it to be Babar Azam? How can you, it's absolutely absurd. And to be really honest, I think in the past 1 year, personal animosity towards Babar Azam has already cost the team a lot. We've seen that happening in the past 1 year. So Taha, I think it's very important for sanity to prevail at the same time. But like we mentioned, that also I think across the board, all the players right now in the team actually look up to Babar Azam. That is a fact right now.
Absolutely, Ahmed, 100% agreed with you. People say that victories, they basically shadow a lot of weaknesses of the team. I also prefer to agree with this fact that victories also bring benefits to your team. What worked for Pakistan? What was the strategy that resulted in that victory? I believe that the victories of 2021 T20 World Cup basically was a very good plus point that contributed to the unity of this team, because Babar was leading the team. A lot of senior pros were in the team. They were looking up to his leadership, and his captaincy was working and is still working at this time. There have been a lot of haphazard changes, but we are back to Babar Azam because we believe in him, we believe in his skill set, and we believe in his leadership skills. That is why he's also leading a franchise team as well. So talking about that, one of my fellow colleagues has already mentioned that he has already peaked in his career at an earlier stage that a lot of other former cricketers had not, because he has won several ICC awards, Player of the Year awards. He has topped the rankings. He is already the leading run scorer for Pakistan in multiple formats, and you can see that recently as well, that in the T20 series, Rizwan had got injured, and it was for Babar to lead the batting lineup, and he did that very efficiently. We had to equal the series, and in the last T20, Babar performed really well, led his side to a competitive score. And what will we do if we don't have a well-settled batter like him, who leads the team, who runs around and scores the partnerships for Pakistan? A lot of questions has been raised over his strike rate as well, but he believes that every day the conditions are not the same. If we are scoring 80 runs in the power play in one game, we need to assess the conditions and then plan the power play target in the next game. So yes, he might not be the impact player for many of the critics around,
but Taha, I think we also, let's be very honest, if we start talking about numbers and indicators, then what we fail to discuss in Pakistan, and I think that is for all of us who have followed cricket across platforms, not just this one, that the entire nation has only been, I think, they've had a romance with numbers for Babar Azam. What they've not realized that what have other people around him done. That's also very important. For example, if Babar's gotten a good 50, 60, it was the job of the players who were coming after him to come and, play at an accelerated run rate. That didn't happen. If Babar didn't score, it was their job to not just build an innings but reach to a certain milestone. That didn't happen. And they've tried multiple options at this stage.
Very well said, Ahmed, because you see the impact players performing in other countries, they have stabilized batting lineups. Their numbers are set. They have finalized their batters for the set positions. Their combinations are set. We although have decided our combinations, but in the recent past, the players finalized for those batting orders have not been consistent. That is the problem, where Pakistani batsmen are not consistent with their strike rate. If Babar goes around hitting every ball, then who will do the job of building the partnership and leading the side with a competitive score? If he becomes that impact player like Rohit Sharma or Shubman Gill or Gaikwad or other batters around, then who will stabilize who will play the role of Virat Kohli, who will play the role of Kane Williamson? So yes, a lot of questions have been raised over his numbers, but for that you need a consistent and stabilized batting lineup to talk about the numbers of each batsman in that lineup.
Certainly. Usman, this is a very important point over here about the numbers around Babar Azam. Taha's mentioned some good examples as well. If you just look at the Indian team, or even for the New Zealand team for that fact, I think if Williamson's got the job of stabilizing the innings or accelerate on his own will, he's got the likes of players around him who are performing. Colin Grandham is there, Jimmy Neesham would be doing that as well. Mark Chapman would be playing at an accelerated run rate. Tim Seifert would be going all crazy, but he'll make sure that Williamson stays comfortable at the other end. For Pakistan in particular, Babar's not had that support around him as well.
Pakistan does not have the resources. That is what I was talking a bit early, that what might be our strength might be others' weakness, and what others have as strength might be our weakness. We don't have an impact player. See, being a good player is a different thing, being an impact player is a different thing. See, you need a good 30, 40 or 20 odd balls, that is an impactful innings, and that can usually win you a T20 game as well. But if you have a player who can score 50 at will, with a strike rate of 30 odd, in virtually every T20 game, he's a gold dust for any team, apart from Pakistan for that matter. It seems that Pakistan doesn't like Babar Azam too much. I'm talking about the critics. Okay, So talking about Kane Williamson, if you're talking a lot about Kane Williamson, tell me how many games did he win for New Zealand in a T20 game? He always has Phil Allen, Seifert, Mitchell, Chapman, Phillips. They all have a strike rate of close to 140, 150. They all are good impact players and virtually they always perform. Conway is another example. Pakistan for that matter doesn't have any. For the past 6, 7, 8 months we were talking a lot about Babar Azam, mostly in negative terms, but nobody spoke about Rizwan. And if you take a look at the strike rates of the recent past of the 2, 3 years, you will be very surprised that Babar is among one of the top strike rates for Pakistan batsmen. Secondly, if Babar doesn't fire, how many a times have you seen your so-called impact players have won you the games? Probably once or twice. I can remember 2 games. One we lost against India in Melbourne, where Iftikhar performed well. One is when Shadab won us against South Africa. So apart from that, it's very difficult to remember so many games. So that is one of the reasons. That is our style of playing cricket. I think Pakistanis are very comfortable scoring 170, 180, and they believe in their bowling to defend those scores. Whereas the other teams, they don't have that confidence probably. They look to outbat the opposition, so they look for 200 and they want to win the game after outbatting the opposition. We on the other hand do the opposite. Look, when Sarfraz was the captain, we talk a lot about his captaincy. If you look, most of his series victories are one match series, and many of those series were played in UAE, where there were slow low pitches where ball used to grip and Imad would have been given the new ball. In how many parts of the world will Imad will get the new ball? And Imad was someone who used to bowl 4 overs for 10 odd runs, 12 odd runs, that too in the power play. So, and Pakistan would always restrict the opposition under 150. Now that is not the case. So Pakistan has to develop, it has to innovate, no doubt about it, but that doesn't mean that it is all because of the change of captaincy or it's all because of Babar Azam playing slow. Babar Azam has a strike rate of 128, 127 is Rizwan's, and if you look at Fakhr Zaman, it is close to 129. So, but he's an impact player. He's an impact player. No, he's an impact player. I think here strike rates cannot come into play. So for Fakhr Zaman, okay, we can believe he can show his colors in every second, third game. But what about the rest?
Second, third, in every 8th, 9th game. Yes, let me correct you.
But look at Azam Khan, Iftikhar Ahmed. See, when they come to the crease, how many of us believe that they are going to perform today? So they have to look into their callers as well. They have to look into themselves as well. That we are always criticizing Babar Azam, but what have the so-called impact players done for Pakistan cricket in the recent past?
Asif, as somebody who's a broadcaster and presenter yourself, you come across many players around the domestic circuit and also on the international level. It's very, very important that once you're discussing any player on numbers game, then it needs to be across the board. So unfortunately, like I said, in Pakistan, that obsession with Babar Azam, that romance has been to an extent where other players have been, I think, not discussed to a point where what's their impact in the team as well. And that is also very, very important, that if you're criticizing Babar, if you're criticizing Rizwan, and this is a pair that has scored about more than 5,000 runs in 51 T20s as an opening pair and they were discarded. But once you're bringing in the likes of Saim Ayub, you tried Asif Ali, you tried Khusdil Shah, Iftikhar Ahmed's in the team, Fakhr Zaman, of course. There are many players who have been in and out of the team. Then their numbers also matter, what they've been doing around Babar Azam as well.
Well, I think you have raised a very important point, and that was that whenever Babar and Rizwan got out early, what the rest of the team had done. That's the question mark. Fakhr Zaman got ample opportunities. Azam Khan, see his international record. Yes, he's doing good in CPL or PSL or in BBL, but what happens when he comes to the international cricket? All right, let me give you another example that the entire world, I'm telling you, let's take an example of India once again. That the Saurav Ganguly is saying that I would like to watch Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli to come as an opener. What we guys are saying, why he's saying this? Because they got very, very good impact players in the middle order.
Well, Sanju Samson at number 3. I mean, that is probably right now the best find for the Indian team.
And what if you see the roots are their domestic circuit. And we aren't giving respect to the domestic circuit. We're just following Pakistan Super League. That's it. And we have only romance with the T20 cricket. We don't see the 4-day cricket. We don't see Pakistan Cup. The President Cup is happening. Who are the players performing there with the bat, with the ball? We just only watch 20 cricket and we make our sense and we make our opinion. I think it's injustice not only with the Babar, with the Pakistan team as well.
Well, certainly. Taha, once we move on from this, we really need to explore some combinations which are going to be best for Pakistan. and it's important that players are utilized based on not only their strengths but conditions as well. USA is going to be a bit alien because obviously there's not been much international cricket there. But once they move on to the West Indies, they would be having an idea of how the pitches are going to behave. So probably, you know, the 15 members can be adjusted according to that.
Well, it's a tricky challenge ahead of the Pakistani selection committee on tour to decide the final 15-member squad for the World Cup, because as you said that international cricket has not been played in USA, so it is yet to be seen how the pitches and the conditions play. Will we attack with the fast bowlers? Babar said in his presser 2 days ago that it needs to be seen that what will be our combination for the India-Pakistan game in New York, because a lot of matches, in fact international cricket has not been played there. So do we need to attack with our fast bowling strength, or do we need to induct more spinners into the team in order to play in New York? So yes, it is challenging, but nobody is expecting all the team selection committee on tour to decide the best 11 or the best 15 for the World Cup, because it will be a new field and a new area where the teams have to basically exercise their skills. Secondly, talking about the middle order of Pakistani team, you see over the past 2 years, only the two positions that have been consistent and there haven't been a lot of changes to those positions is the opening slot. In the 2021 World Cup, we had senior pros like Mohammad Hafiz and Shoaib Malik batting in the middle order, and then we saw people like Haider Ali, Khushdil Shah, Asif Ali coming into the team, Mohammad Haris. Because what was the problem? That people playing at this numbers for Pakistan, they were not consistent. So there were a lot of changes. That is the problem that we need to address, and I believe the new upcoming head coach of the Pakistan team has this problem in mind, and he'll be having his solutions to this problem, and he'll be discussing it with the likes of Wahab Riaz, Azhar Mahmood and Babar Azam, to at least invest in a player who is technically correct, who is also an impact player, who can build a partnership, who can hit the long ball and basically win matches for Pakistan. How many matches has the middle order of the Pakistan batting lineup won for Pakistan team, batting first or batting second in the last 2 years? Even talking about the T20 format, I don't see a lot of players. Yes, Iftikhar's performances have come in short stints, but he has been more consistent in the franchise format, not for Pakistan.
Certainly, certainly. Taha, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much to K. Asif. And thank you very much, Mr. Malik Usman, for joining us. That wraps up cricket. And now we move on to hockey, where Pakistan have been exceptional in their campaign so far at the Aslan Shah Hockey Tournament. They've just, in their final game of the group stages, they've beaten Canada 5-4. They now lead the points table with 10 points. So we'll be talking about that as well. They now face Malaysia in their next encounter. They next face New Zealand. Please allow me to correct myself. They face New Zealand in their next encounter on the 10th of May. And it's going to be an interesting one as well. Throughout the course, they've won 3 games. They've drawn 1 against Japan. So it's going to be very, very interesting to discuss this further. We've been joined by somebody who happens to be a former Olympian, a hockey player for Pakistan. He was part of the gold medal winning team in the Guangzhou 2010 games as well, and also the gold medal winning team of 2012 Asians Trophy in Doha as well, Mr. Waqas Sharif. Assalamu alaikum, Waqas. How are you?
जी वालेकुम अस्सलाम जी अहमद नवाज भाई कैसे हैं आप ठीक है हाउ आर यू एवरीथिंग इज गुड
I'm very well, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a terrific campaign so far for Pakistan. For our viewers, how would you like to highlight the hockey that we're seeing? Of course, we're winning at a consistent pace. How would you highlight the team's performance so far?
Yeah, I'm really happy with that performance because all the other bunch of these groups are boys are coming from the different, like they were some junior and they are some most junior and the combination of some senior players. So they're excellent combination, and they have performed before the Olympic qualification round. They have performed tremendously. They play excellent against New Zealand and Malaysia and China. They have played excellent hockey there, and they are continuing playing there in Aslan Shah. They are playing excellent start, and maybe in some quarters they have to look for, like with against the Japan. They have struggled with the second quarter, but they have to look for their mistakes and look forward for the improvement of the next game.
Vikas, how would you rate this performance on a consistent basis? Because obviously, like I said, that it's not just about practice or grassroots. You also need to win international tournaments for the team to have confidence as well. As a former player yourself who has won gold twice for Pakistan, what's the confidence any player gets when you're winning international tournaments?
Yeah, before I will explain about that. For the winning combination, you in every tournament, in every match, in every quarter, there is a different scenario. Sometimes you are struggling with the pace of the opponent. Sometimes you are very good in pace and you are not struggling in attack and defense, and your defensive balance is very good. So it is, we cannot say that we can consistent in nowadays in the modern hockey. So every match you have to go for the next preparation and very well prepared and look for your mistakes and try to overcome these mistakes, and then you can perform. And for the if you are like for the mental strength, like you are saying that for the winning performance, first you have to the basics foundation has to be correct. Then after you can come for the performing sides. Then you can go for the winning side. So there are the three steps. So our team is now is performing. It's not in a winning side. Their basic foundation has been made. Then they are performing. Now the next target should be our to winning the big tournament. Like I would like to explain about the Eight Nation Cup. I will not consider Lancha is a big event for us as a Pakistan coaches and like as a Pakistani, we have to look for the Eight Nation Cup who is coming in Poland. It's 31st May. So if we win this tournament, if we qualify, then we come to the first 10th position in world ranking, and then we qualify for Pro League. So lot of benefit for this tournament. So I will like to suggest that our team that continue this pace, keep winning, keep perform well, and well prepared for the next tournament, because again Malaysia and Korea is there and New Zealand is there. So we have to look for these teams and don't exploit their all the good weapons against these teams. So keep hiding some good weapons and perform for the next one. And also good luck in this tournament and keep play well and try to win this Zansha.
Well, certainly, Vikas, so far things are going well. When everything is going well, people don't tend to focus on some things that might be a challenge. As a player yourself, when you analyze this team, what's the one thing that you would still want Pakistan to improve?
A lot of things they need to improve, because in counter our defensive balance is not there. They are mostly out in numbers, or maybe they are in. Sometimes we are big in number, but still the opponent attackers penetrate easily. So we have to look for this side, that we have to control the counter of the opponent. Like they are, when we lose the ball, we have to cover all the target areas for the which is close to our goal post. So we have to look for more defensive balance and more defensive close, center close, and we can like nobody can easily exploit our center, and they can easily get inside the D circle. So we allow them to make difficult for the opponent. So this is the main thing I want to improve in my team, like in Pakistan team. So I would suggest.
Certainly. Thank you very much, Vikas Sharif, for your time. It was an honor to have you on Sports Extra.
Sorry, one more I want to request you
Yes, please.
from your
Please
side.
go ahead.
That, yeah, because for the national game, our matches should be come in PTV World or PTV National Sports. So from your point of view, that I would like to suggest also from you people that you support this game. For the
Definitely.
communication and
Vikas bhai, I'm going to
broadcasting.
take this on a personal level, and I'm going to make sure that we broadcast these games as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was former Olympian, twice gold medal winner for Pakistan, Vikas Sharif. talking to us. I think he's right on the broadcast level as well. We've got a certain responsibility that we need to play as far as broadcasting hockey is concerned. Only then are we going to inspire a generation to take up hockey once again in Pakistan. We've enjoyed that glory. So far, the results have been terrific. Waqas was very particular about where he wants this team to improve. He talked about the defensive balance when they're counter-attacking. I think that's a very, very important point where Pakistan really can work upon as well. And like he said, that all tricks should not be revealed. I think that is also important, that some tricks need to be kept in the bag. But next up, they face New Zealand on the 10th, and we're very, very hopeful that Pakistan not only progresses further but wins this tournament as well. And I think terrific performance so far. We're so proud of our hockey team, and congratulations to the team management there as well, including the Pakistan Hockey Federation. I think they deserve a lot of credit. Now we move on, and we also tell you that the Chief of Naval Staff International Squash Championship is underway. It is something of particular focus because obviously when you talk about this, 23 matches are being played in this mega event. 19 international and 5 Pakistani players who already possess international rankings are participating in this tournament. The championship is going to conclude on the 12th of May. It continues till the 12th with 23 matches that are being played, and certainly of great importance. When we talk about squash in Pakistan, it already enjoys a lot of structure now. So it's great to see that once again we see another international tournament. As much as international players are participating in these international tournaments, it's not just about the exposure that you're giving to your domestic players as well, but once you're hosting international players, I think that gives you a lot of impetus and a lot of focus on your domestic squash as well at the same time. So I think there's a lot of credit that needs to be given to Pakistan Navy, including the Chief of Naval Staff, and we of course would be seeing this championship at the Roshan Khan Squash Complex as well. The championship, like I said, is going to conclude on the 12th. It will continue till the 12th as well. 23 matches in total. If you talk about the number of participation, 19 international players, all of who possess international rankings are there, and we also have 5 Pakistani players from the country who are also participating in this tournament. So we'll keep bringing you the latest of details as the tournament progresses. We'll bring you all the results. We'll keep you posted with the tournament updates as well, and hopefully once it concludes on the 12th with some great news for Pakistan as well, hopefully, because it is a real challenge when you're facing international players from 19 different categories, and then you talk about 19 international players, 5 Pakistani players combined making 23 games. It's competitive squash on offer at the Chief of Naval Staff Squash Championship. On that note, that's all we have time for this edition of Sports Extra. From me and the entire team, until next time, it's goodbye for now.